Hi and welcome to the THRUNITE channel. Today I'm going to be comparing 6 different pen style flashlights. What I mean by pen style are flashlights that are long and very skinny or slender. Now traditionally these two lights would be more considered pen style because they're pretty much the size of a pen. Whereas the other 4 options here are much smaller versions of it. These are more pocketable for EDC. So I just want to go over each flashlight briefly, talk about the price of the flashlight, talk about its highest output, how many modes it has, and its battery source. So first here on the left, the THRUNITE Archer Mini. These sell for $29.95. There's 3 modes in this flashlight. It is rechargeable, all right? All you have to do is unscrew the head here, all right? See, it exposes that USB-C port. That's how you're gonna charge it. And this has a high output of 405 lumens. Next up, we have the Streamlight MacroStream USB. This is also rechargeable, but instead of unscrewing it, you're going to pull forward. That's going to expose that charging port. These usually sell for, on average, $29.40, although they do vary quite a bit online because they've been around for a while. This has 2 modes, and the high output is 250 lumens. Next up here is the Olight I3T EOS. These sell on average for about $20. There's a lot of different variants on it, different colors. So those prices can vary just a little bit, but on average about 20 bucks. This holds a single AAA alkaline battery. There's 2 modes, and the high output on this one is 180 lumens. Next up here is the Olight I5R EOS. These sell on average for $35.95, but again, lots of different color variations, limited editions, so they can fluctuate quite a bit in price. With all the Olights, just getting a standard black version is probably going to be the cheapest option. But this one has a high output of 350 lumens, also has 2 modes. Now this is the upgraded version from the original i5T EOS, which took a single AA battery. This one also takes a single AA battery, but it is rechargeable. All right, so the battery that is provided with the light does have a charging port on it. Next up is the Streamlight Stylus Pro. This has been around many years. These go for about $20 or so. There's only 1 mode. It has a high output of 100 lumens, and this takes 2 AAA batteries, just regular old alkaline cells. And last up here is the Coast G20. These average about $15 or so. Again, couple colors, couple different variants on prices, but across the board about 15 bucks. This unfortunately only has a high output of 54 lumens and only has 1 mode. It runs on 2 AAA batteries, just simple alkaline cells. So next I just want to go over each individual light and show you how they function and their modes. Starting off with the THRUNITE Archer Mini. First thing we notice on the outside, we do have a removable pocket clip. If you don't want it, it just pops right off. But you can see it does have 2 positions. So when it is on the light here, you could clip it that direction, or you can use the top portion to clip it another direction. What's really, really nice about the bi-directional pocket clips is because this is so small and lightweight, you can clip this to the brim of a baseball hat, and you can use this almost like a headlamp, so it's hands-free. All right, so using this light is very simple. There are 3 modes. Just pressing it once will turn on the light in the low mode. Pressing it again will shut it off. If you want to go to high mode, you have to double-click it, and now we have our full 405 lumens. Or you could triple-click for strobe. Now, obviously, strobe has flashing lights, so if you have any kind of problem with any kind of flashing lights, you might want to skip through the video. But triple-click, and there's our strobe mode. All right, and then again, a single click will bring you back to low after the strobe. Another click will shut it off. So definitely a different UI than what we're used to seeing in a lot of different THRUNITE flashlights. So talking about the Streamlight MicroStream USB, we can see we also have a bi-directional pocket clip here, which is very nice and removable. Just pull that to pop it off. Now there is a low and a high mode. To switch between low mode, which is the default whenever you turn it on, to high, you have to do a quick double click. All right, so if you wanted high momentary, you're not going to actually click it all the way down. You're going to do a 1, 2, and just hold it, let go when you're done using it, or a quick half press, another half press all the way down to a click in order to keep that high on. So if you just want high on, half press and then click it. All right, just something to remember. It's a little bit more difficult than some other lights, but it's really not that hard to understand once you get consistent use on that light and you're familiar with it. Next up here is the Olight I3T EOS. This also has a bi-directional clip, which is removable, which is very nice. So we have a tail switch here, which is just a rubber cap. And all you have to do is a half press, all right, for momentary on, but this will cycle between low and high. So if you hit it once and then do it again, you'll cycle to high. At any point in time, you can push in for constant on. So if you want it low, the first push, you just push in all the way, and that's low. Or you would do a half press and then another half press to cycle back and forth. All right, so low, high, and so forth. Again, if you want it to just go high on this one, it's going to be a double press and then click in. Next up is the Olight I5R EOS. This works identically to the i3T. All right, so we're going to have a half press here for low. All right, another half press for high. You can cycle back and forth and just click in for constant on. This one just happens to be a larger model as well as higher outputs. Now, speaking of familiar lights, we're moving on to the Streamlight Stylus Pro. This has been around for many, many years. I used to have a different version of this light. I had a blue one originally. They do come in different colors, but not much has changed. I mean, it's 100 lumen output, again, running on the 2 AAA batteries. Even though technically there's one mode, you still have momentary on. So there's 2 different ways you can use the one mode. All right, so you have your 100 lumens, either a half press for momentary on, or just push it down and click for constant on. And that is pretty much it. Very simple flashlight. And last here is the Coast G20, which is also a very simple flashlight. We have a tail clicky here. It's a rubber button. It is kind of like, I don't know, it's not really loose, but it does have a lot of play in this button. It's also quite soft, but all you have to do to use the light is push it in until it clicks. There's no momentary on this light. It's either on or it's off. Now, even on tabletop here, you can see it's definitely a bluish tint for the LED. It has a really unique beam shot in that the light is dispersed evenly throughout the entire circle, but it's just a circle. There's no spill. So this is literally all hot spot, but it's not all that hot at just 54 lumens. All right, so it is quite unique. We'll of course see that in just a moment here when we go outside. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this light. Okay, first up here is the Archer Mini. There it is on high. All right, about 10 feet or so from the wall. So we'll go left and right, and up and down. You can see there's definitely some spill here. All right, there's a distinctive circle on the wall, although it does fade around the sides, and of course there is spill all around that. All right, next up is the Streamlight MacroStream. All right, so there's high. Go left and right, and up and down. This has a slightly less distinctive circle in the middle. It fades out just a little bit more than the THRUNITE. All right, next up is the Olight I3T EOS. All right. Left, right, and up and down. All right, so now we have the Olight I5R EOS on high, left and right, and up and down. You can see this light has a little bit more spill as I go up. You can still see some lingering light down here on the edge, so a little bit of a wider beam shot. Next up is the Streamlight Stylus Pro. All right, go left and right, up and down. Now this one you can see has a little bit of a tighter, hot spot in the middle, although of course it does fade around. As I move around, you can see it does have more of a distinctive, larger circle around that hot spot, almost like a cooked egg. And last up is the Coast G20. Now this light does have an extremely unique beam shot in that the light is completely inside of this circle. All right, there's no spill at all. It's a very distinctive circle, but the light within it is perfectly distributed all around. So this is something either you really, really would like or something you really, really would dislike. All right, so when you're using this flashlight, whatever's inside that circle you can see, whatever's outside is not there at all. It's pitch black. All right, so let's go left and right, and then up
and down. And that's pretty much it.
So there you go. Hopefully you have a better understanding of how these lights compare to each other. They're all fantastic lights. I mean, the Olights are very popular. The THRUNITEs are very popular. So are the Streamlights. Coast doesn't get as much recognition overall. They do have a ton of different flashlight models. This G20 definitely is different. You saw that in the beam shot. The fact that you have such an evenly dispersed amount of light in such a specific circle, you know, it could be a real disadvantage or an advantage, just depending on what you're looking at. It is the cheapest light on the table here, but unfortunately only 54 lumens, and the fact that the coloration on that light is very bluish, it's probably the least wanted of this group. But you know, all these lights have their advantages, their pros and cons. It is nice that you do get an even amount of light. So if you weren't in a situation where you needed a ton of those lumens popping out, then you know it could still be advantageous. If you're about 10-15 feet away from something, you'll get a nice even projection of that light. Whereas most people would probably prefer some of these other models. The Olights are very popular, the I3T EOS as well as the newer I5R. Just, I mean, a ton of light in a small package, very simple to use. It's low or high, really easy. The Streamlight Stylus Pro has been around for many, many years. Again, more of a true, you know, pen style flashlight where it's the size and, you know, basic feel of a full-size pen. Super simple. You just, you know, turn it on. It's either on and off. 100 lumens is enough light for indoors, I would say, or even small tasks outdoors. But the real focus I want to do with this particular video is to feature, of course, the brand new Archer Mini, pretty much compared directly to the Streamlight MacroStream USB, in that they're both a little bit more closely comparable. I will say that although both lights are fantastic, the THRUNITE is about the same price, but has a lot more light. The one thing that I do really prefer, though, is the fact that the charging port is hidden under the head, and you have to unscrew it. It's a big deal to me. There's still an O-ring in here, so it's completely sealed. But to have to screw that down, once you're all the way down, it's very secure. Whereas on the Streamlight here, just pulling up and down, if you don't push that back down after charging all the way, all right, it's not totally sealed, all right? And then even just carrying and using this, if it gets bumped a little bit and opens just ever so slightly, now you're exposing that charging port to the elements, to any kind of moisture or you know, dirt, dust, grime, anything like that. So although it's not, you know, the worst design in the world, I do like the fact that THRUNITE, you know, their version basically of this style of light has that screw top. I just prefer it. Something else I want to point out is I do like the tail cap on this new Archer Mini. It feels like aluminum, all right, just like the body here. It's low profile and it's very rounded. It's just a very different feel compared to all the other flashlights that are out here with these rubber tail caps. You know what I mean? This is what we're kind of used to, is these rubberized caps that go over an interior, you know, clicky switch. I don't know. It's not a huge deal, but it is something I definitely noticed in using them. Even in the dark, just kind of comparing these, I can right away tell the difference between the THRUNITE and that cap as compared to like the little MacroStream here. But anyway, all these lights are pretty awesome if you want to carry and use these. Again, if there was one I wouldn't recommend on the table, it would be the Coast, just because of the coloration, the type of projection on that light, as well as the low output. So that's it for this video. I just want to remind everyone, if you want to get in on the THRUNITE giveaways, be sure to subscribe to this channel as well as comment on these videos. Thanks again for watching.